Good morning, everyone. All right, so got a few decent movers today. Watching LEDS, VHC, CNET starting to push back up. Had a huge move yesterday. It's at 255 now. Also watching TNDM, as you can see on the bottom right chart. So yeah, I got some decent movers. Not any crazy volume. VHC is probably the best gapper that I'm looking to short potentially if I can. And so watching VHC. What's up, dog? Dog, what's up, man? And yeah, for stocks that are moving the most in pre-market right now, CNET is probably, it's not necessarily gapping up, but it's moving. And VHC. I'll go ahead and add my watch list to the chat. There's my watch list there. Got some movers this morning. Wednesday historically has been my worst trading day, and so we'll see how today goes. Hopefully I can do well. I'm gonna see if I can find anything else really. So yeah, the weather is here in Texas is pretty crazy. I wake up and it's like 40 degrees, which is actually pretty cold because of the humidity here. And then later on in the day, it gets up to like 80, 85 degrees, so it's hot later on. So weather's a little moody. All right, so let's see if I can find anything else moving that's not on my watch list this morning. Let's see what is trending right now. CBAY gapping up some. GLD, a little bit more expensive of a stock. That one's not really moving too much. Alright, so let's see. VHC. EYEG gapping up some, moving a little bit. Little cheap penny stock, but it's moving some. Gonna watch this one. May as well add that one to my watch list. Let's see if I can find anything else. That looks good. Top's moving some. CRIS looks good for maybe a potential long. CRIS, keeping an eye on that one. And yeah, that's about it. So CRIS, EYEG maybe. Gonna watch for maybe a potential long. GSAT. Go ahead and add CRIS and EYEG to the chat just so I don't forget it. GSAT, GSAT. Yeah, it made a big drop off. I'm not sure why. It's, the drop off is with low volume, and so it may bounce back. We'll see. The chart didn't look too bad yesterday leading up to the close, but it's at 65 cents now, so we'll see what happens with it. EYEG, I mean, it went up to 44 cents, dropped back down to 37, so that's actually a big percentage move. I don't necessarily think it may continue. It had a big push on Friday of last week, so we'll see what happens with it as well. Let's see if I can trade any of these this morning. Can't trade LEDS or VHC. That's a bummer. Or CNET, really? CNET used to be tradable. I'm actually really frustrated about that. I thought I could trade it. I could trade SPPI, and SDAO, and ARWR, and INO, TXMD, TNDM, but I could trade those, but the frustrating aspect is I can't get into CNET, which I really wanted to. It looks overextended, or VHS, or LEDS. So my three biggest watches this morning are not tradable in TradeNet. Really frustrating. What's up, Tanner? Yeah, so I got out of Kerr at about $1.79, $1.80. Made $8 profit, only lost $10 net loss on the day, and so I was happy with it. I probably should have stayed in it the entire time, and that's kind of a common thing. Like that washout after a big gap up happens so much for that setup. I need to learn how to just hold it through. And maybe, I was thinking maybe I should start scaling into positions, so if I buy 50 shares and it makes that push up, I'll be comfortable enough to hold it through that push, and then when it breaks the low of the day again, maybe jump in with some more shares is what I've been thinking of doing today. We'll see, though. I can't trade any of the big gap ups that I'm really looking to trade, so really aggravating. What's up, Matt? What's up, NYC? Cincinnati looks bad. Yeah, I'm an Astro fan, man. I'm an Astro fan. But yeah, I'm bummed out. I can't trade any of these three big stocks, and I really like them, so it's kind of aggravating for sure. I can trade a decent amount of the other ones, but none of them are really huge gap ups. The only big gap ups are these three, and unfortunately, I can't get into them. So pretty aggravating. See if I can find anything else. I know CNET used to be tradable on TradeNet. I don't know what happened, why they why they stopped allowing people to trade it on TradeNet, but it's pretty frustrating for sure. I got one day trade on Robinhood, but I want to short. I guess I can go long on Robinhood, but definitely want to get into something, Yeah, it's frustrating for sure. I mean, you can't. Here's the thing: like, no cheap broker, no discount broker is going to be perfect, but it's just really aggravating. Like, I really want to get in VHS short, LEDS maybe short, maybe long. CNET, I was thinking about shorting it just because it's overextended from yesterday. Although it could have a nice strong day push today, so I'm gonna watch it on Robinhood maybe, but definitely aggravated. All the overextended stocks that I wanted to short are not tradable, and so I'm gonna have to try to make do with other trades today. But I'm sure I'll find something. Yeah, what's up, Troy? What's up, man? Yeah, a lot of people think penny stocks are a scam, you know. Some of them are tradable, but a lot of them aren't. I guess I'm going to be watching SPPI here. It's having a strong push up from 15. Still going to be looking for some potential shorts, but there's just not that overextended gap that I really like. Yeah, Victor, where do I start with day trading? Um, yeah, man. So the first thing you got to understand is that you'll probably end up losing your first account. It's just kind of tuition in the market. I'm not saying 100% of people will, but a large majority of people will lose with their first account. Um, as long as you have to be okay with losing that money too, or your emotions aren't going to be in the right place. And just studying, find a, paper trade a little bit, find a setup that works, and then try to repeat it with real money if you ever get the chance to, is what I would do. Um, so, DNR. Yeah, I kind of like DNR if it breaks 319. We'll see what happens. Let's look at the daily. Yeah, I mean, it's at the high of the last year with DNR gapping up. So we'll see what happens with it as well. Just aggravated. I really wanted to get in VHS, honestly, or VHC. Not tradable. CNET used to be tradable. They took it off. LEDS isn't at all. So I'll have to find something. PVG. Right, that's a good point. That's a good point, Troy. A lot of, if you think trading's going to be some get rich quick scheme or some way to just make money quickly, it's just not that. You can make money quickly in trading, but you can also lose money really quickly, which new traders tend to do. And so it's actually going to be a pretty big investment most of the time getting started. Like for instance, I started trading 2 years ago and I lost, over $3,000 relatively quickly. And luckily I understood before getting into it that I would probably lose that money. But it still kind of put a toll on my emotions. And so it's tough, man, but if you work hard at it and study enough and you just got to get a good feel of the market is the most important thing, honestly. You got to do it from day in and day out. Just study and watch the market and understand and test out patterns that work. Figure out what works for your personality and then just rinse and repeat that is what I've been trying to do. Right, exactly, Atheon. Yeah, Joshua. I mean, I was actually thinking about that last night, man. It's still worth it for me with TradeNet, and I mean, I have other brokers too to use it, but my biggest setup is shorting these overextended stocks, and when I can't trade the overextended stocks, it's definitely frustrating. At the same time, $3 per round trip commissions are pretty cheap, and I usually find something to get into, and so definitely aggravating. But this is actually pretty rare that my three main watches aren't tradable, and so this is kind of an outlier day, but still frustrating regardless. Yeah, but I can only get in 3 day trades a week. So it kind of cancels itself out. The trades I can't get into on here, I'm not going to be able to get into on E-Trade. Only being able to use 3 day trades per week. And also having to follow the T2 rule, the T plus 2 rule. I have to wait 2 days per transaction. So it's, there's pros and cons. if I do eventually get a new broker, it's probably just going to be SureTrader again. Now that I found setups. The last time I used SureTrader was when I was still brand new as a trader. I was still really, really new. Didn't have any clue what I was doing. Just was kind of jumping in stocks every time they broke the high of the day, and just not really focusing on testing out setups. All right, I'll check it out, Matt. Appreciate it, man. PIXY. Yeah, I kind of like PIXY, especially if it pushes up to 332. Alright, so let's see why some of these are moving. I can trade one of these on Robinhood, so if any of these start to push up, I can still get into one. Let's look up to see why these are moving, though. Hold on. Yeah, no, none of these platforms I use except for Robinhood have 3 day trades per week. None of them follow the PDT rule except for Robinhood. Ustock, there's no PDT rule. And TradeNet, I can trade as much as I want with both of those. With Robinhood, I have to follow the PDT rule, but usually Robinhood is I'm just testing out options trades and swing trades on Robinhood. And if I have a day trade, I might jump into it, but most of the time it's just swing trading. Good morning, Alba. What's up, man? Nice, Troy. Awesome, man. TradeNet mark is only $3 a round trip. So you can see on the left side of my screen, this is TradeNet's trading window. It's only $3 for round trip, up to 200 shares. 300 shares is like $3.50 or something small like that per round trip. And as I get higher, like if I buy 1,000 shares, I think it's $12 per round trip. But if I'm only using a really small share size, it's pretty cheap. Sprint. All right, I'll check it out, Atheon. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I mean, you gotta find your niche in trading. Mine is definitely overextended shorts, looking for big gap ups and then shorting them when they form a range and then break under that range at the open is kind of my style. Also, I like washout longs as well. So if a stock drops and then breaks the high of the day after the open, I like jumping in there as well. So every trader's got to find out kind of what works for them. Those two setups have probably been the most profitable for me. And so everybody's got to figure out what works for them. But eventually you'll find your niche in the market. All right, so let's look up why some of these stocks are moving this morning. First, I'm going to look at LEDS. LEDS, I'm not showing any news for it. There may be news out. Thinkorswim may just be late adding it. Let's look at VHC. Thanks for the subscribe, Senior Bets. Appreciate it, man. Welcome, dude. Alright, so the news on VHC is Apple ordered to pay $503 million over patent infringement. Shares jumped 32% pre-bell, and so that's why VHC is up, a patent infringement. So that's pretty good news. I think that's million. Let me see. Oh yeah, it's 502.6 million for patent infringement. So that's pretty good news. $506 million paycheck from Apple is going to VHC. So crazy. All right, now let's look CNET up. CNET's, I'm not showing really any news. It had good movement yesterday. I think it's just related to the Bitcoin price and the cryptocurrency crisis or prices. All right, so TXMD is gapping up because it entered into a label negotiations for the TX004HR, the company's investigational applicator-free estradiol soft gel capsule. So it's a bio stock entering into agreements. SPPI gapping up some, but starting to give it back. Maybe looking at this one for a short, just because it's up so much in the last 2 days. You can see the last 2-day chart. Let's see. Let's look at the 5-minute. You can see the last 2 days it's up from 1460 something. So it's at 2130 now. All right, so it put out a press release that says its drug shows potential in phase 2 non-small cell lung cancer study. So good results apparently for SPPI with its phase 2 trials. Let's look at, what's another one? ARWR, maybe, gapping up from 676 to 714. Let's see if it says why it's doing that. Alright, so ARWR presents ARC 520 clinical data at the International Liver Conference. Oh, International Liver Congress. So it must have been good data that came out with ARWR. Looking at INO here. Kind of like this one more than the other ones. And I think I can trade it. So gonna watch this one maybe. I'm sitting at 504. Let's see why it's moving. INO awarded up to $56 million from CEPI to advance DNA vaccines against Lassa fever and MERS. So good news for INO. I'm gonna keep this one on my watch list. TXMD. There's another one I'm watching. Let's see why it's moving. Oh, I already looked up TXMD, TNDM. This one's up a lot in the last day. May look at it to short. It's up from 550 in the last day up to 7 now, 691. So gonna watch this one maybe for a potential short, see if it continues to fall, depending on how it acts for the rest of pre-market. So yeah, I just gotta find other options this morning. But yeah, that's it. Let me know if you guys see anything else. Hopefully I can find something else I can get into. What's up, Power Zone? CBay positive phase trials. Yeah, I gotta keep this one on my watch list. And this one's tradable. I may look at this one as well for a potential short. We'll see. Alright, so got a few decent movers. PRPO. Yeah, gapping up a small amount. Gonna watch this one to see if it breaks this 54-cent area and then runs, see if it can hold support over that 50-cent level. Let's see what else. What's up, Power Zone? Yeah, Matt, I'm bummed out I can't trade it on TradeNet either. Yeah, somebody mentioned Sprint already. Yeah, you're probably right. Somebody mentioned it already and said, let me see what they said about Sprint. Yeah, Atheon mentioned Sprint. Says they were talking about T-Mobile acquisition. If these talks are hot air, a great short. If not, a great long. Yeah, we'll see how it reacts to the open. It's up a big amount already. So I do kind of like that one for a potential short. Even though it's not really gapping up in an overextended way, you could see that crazy move yesterday, and it may be a little bit extended from that. And so going to look down to that 550 level maybe for a short, depending on how crazy it acts at the open. We'll see. Yeah, I was watching some of those Facebook press conferences with Mark. Yeah, it's actually weird. I was watching the movie A Social Network yesterday, and then I watched that. Good movie, but yeah, seems a little robotic. Morning Max, unknowns. What's up, man? Good for longs. You know, watching some of these longs, I'm not as good at predicting. So we'll see what PRPO does, maybe. Watching PRPO, see if it holds support at 50 cents and continues. Let's look at the daily on PRPO. Yeah, maybe time for a push up with PRPO. Gonna keep an eye on it. Good morning, Juan. What's up, man? EYEG. Yeah, EYEG's up from 33. It's at 37, so it's up 5 cents. Looking for it to continue. The biggest thing, like something I noticed a lot, is like INO, for example. Most of the time when a stock has a crazy push up like this, like goes all the way up to 539 in pre-market, most of the time it never gets that high again. Like usually a stock doesn't go all the way back up here to test this pre-market high. And so maybe I'm going to watch it for a small push at the open and then a break under the low of the day for a short. We'll see, you know, but that's kind of my trade idea with that one. CBay may be a little bit different if it continues to push up and break 14. So we'll see. LEDS, I'm like I said, I'm steady bummed out that this one wasn't tradable. You can see LEDS is showing nice volume, pushing up, breaking the $0.50 now. So a little bummed out about it, but nice moves regardless, you know. Alright, so LEDS pushing up to 574, showing a lot of volume right now. Not a lot of volume, I'm sorry, a lot of momentum, I should say. Volume's not that great, but a lot of movement pushing up to 574. We'll see if it can hold over this 550 level right here. See if it could break over the $0.50 and then hold it as support. Yeah, that's rough. Did LFIN ever resume? See, it's not even showing up on Thinkorswim, LFIN. People are talking about LFIN. Let me see if I can pull up the chart on my laptop. Alright, so we'll see if we get any more movement. Let me know if you guys see anything else. Still kind of looking. Yeah, I noticed that PK, it got hit with a investigation. I doubt it'll resume anytime soon. Tough for those people that got caught into it. Yeah, VHC. Track Racer. VHC is on my other monitor. I have two monitors. One on the right that you guys can't see, but unfortunately, it's not tradable on TradeNet, which is really aggravating. That's rough, NYC. But yeah, I'm watching VHC and LEDS for Robinhood trades. Yeah, it's tough, NYC. That's rough, Joshua. Maybe one day it will resume for y'all if it gets cleared of that investigation. It's just tough. You can see LEDS is at 595 now. There's also, if you can trade it, there's also CNET. Although this one's down some. But LEDS is at $6 now. Definitely like it for a short though. Unfortunately, I can't get into it, but it's kind of what I look for with shorts. Just a ridiculous gap up. Although stocks that move like this sometimes can push up, so we'll see. Don't want to stay too rigid in my trades. TD Ameritrade, I've used it in the past. Track Racer, some of my other videos you could see me trading with TD Ameritrade. I think part of it is just leverage. More importantly, you have to follow the PDT rule with Thinkorswim, and so I like to stick to brokers where I can trade as much as I want. I usually get into at least one trade per day most of the time, and so I can't do that on Thinkorswim. But LEDS, man, look at this move up to 650. Crazy push. What's up, Suraful? What's up, man? Maybe Atheon. We'll see. It's either that or I'm going to move over to looking at PTN. Some of you guys are talking about it. Either that or I'm moving on to SureTrader. Yeah, I believe it. Track Racer. You can see LFIN. I mean, if it for some reason it doesn't want to show on my Thinkorswim, but if you look at the chart, especially the daily chart, you can see that thing has just been acting crazy in the last few months. Okay, it's near earnings for LEDS. I don't know. I mean, it's up so much already. It's up from 430 to basically 650, over that even. So we'll see what happens. I think it still may drop, but if the earnings are coming out, people may hold waiting for the earnings. Not even close, Atheon. Just the platform for SureTrader itself is $100 a month or more. If you want level 2, that is. But if I do get SureTrader, I'll probably just kind of do what I'm doing with TradeNet here, is get the very basic version of SureTrader and then put my trading window next to Thinkorswim so I don't have to pay for the ridiculous fees that the platform costs. And then trades itself, if I'm using 100 shares, trades are probably like $11 or $12 per round trip. If I'm using more, it's more. You know, I remember I used 500 or 1,000 shares. It was about $16 per round trip. So 5 times what TradeNet would be. You know, but I mean, at the same time, TradeNet, it's if you use 1,000 shares, it's $12 per round trip, and so it's kind of comparable if I think about it actually. The only problem is, you know, no matter what, I'm not going to be able to use small sizing on TradeNet. I'm going to have to use bigger sizing. Yeah, no, I actually agree, Track Racer. When I first started trading, I used SureTrader and I lost my account pretty quickly. When I started trading again, I used TD Ameritrade with Thinkorswim, and I had to follow the pattern day trading rule, and I was much more successful using TD Ameritrade. So I definitely agree. I think the PDT rule can help traders, especially new traders, kind of have that patience and not chase is the most important thing, you know. The benefit of SureTrader is just being able to trade any stock I want, basically. They have a lot of shorts. They let you get into most stocks, you know, and so that's the biggest benefit. I'll probably stick to TradeNet until I show some consistent gains, though. You can see PRPO, guys, is starting to push up. It's at 54, which is the pre-market high. Watching this one to continue, but you can see how strong LEDS is. Up to 660, 680 now. Yeah, I gotta have a set stop when I get into these trades for sure. I always try to set one, and a lot of the times I'll announce it to you guys where I'm planning on getting out of my position if it goes the wrong way, but sometimes I don't follow it. It's something I need to work on for sure. Alright, there's the break of the pre-market high with PRPO. I seriously doubt I can trade it, but I might as well check. Yeah, I can't trade it. There's SPPI dropping all the way down to 21 now. And PRPO is up to 56. Alright guys, market's opening up in about a minute now. Good luck everyone. yeah, we'll see how today works out. I may try a few scaling positions where I scale in and out. Look at that drop on INO. I definitely don't like that now. Dropping down to 481, so barely even gapping up now. Alright, got about 40 seconds, guys. TXMD's dropping right along with INO. Alright guys, less than 30 seconds. Alright, so here's the open. Good luck everyone. LEDS is still pushing strong here. Definitely short biased with it, although I can't short it, unfortunately. Alright, here's the open right now. Good luck. I don't know. Look at LEDS. Crazy move. This might be a parabolic mover today. We'll see what happens. Thanks for the sub, Ahmad. Appreciate it, man. Welcome. Yeah, just a big spread on SPPI. Watching Sprint here. VHC followed. Is LEDS halted? Yep. Already. Man, that happened in like 30 seconds. Might short Sprint here. Break the low. I don't like that bounce. Don't like that on Sprint. I'm going to get out here. I don't like that push back up. I got in when it broke the low of the day, but unfortunately it made that big push back up. And so we'll see what happens with it. Quick losing trade for me. Too choppy to really trade though. I may jump in ARWR here if it breaks this low. after a failed push. Really though, I need to make a mental note. SPPI is breaking this low of the day again as well. That's kind of what I look for. The spread's kind of crazy on it, but let me see. Alright, so I'm in ARWR with 50 shares. When it broke this low, gonna see if it can tumble down some. May add more depending on how it acts. Looks weak. Gotta move it slow though. Nice, Tony. Good trade, man. Yeah, what's CNET doing? Yeah, CNET made that push and then failed. Alright, there's the resumption on LEDS. Crazy move. I'm looking at Twitter here as well. Twitter's trying to break under that low too. No, unfortunately, Abby, I just don't want to, I'd probably get in trouble for sharing my trade idea scanner with everybody, so I can't really necessarily trade. I post my watch list every morning, but I don't want to share my scan necessarily. TNDM pushing up here. SPPI bouncing back. Twitter breaking under that low of the day, starting to fall now. Yeah, we'll see if LEDS flags here, if it ends up breaking under this low and washing out at 650. It's up so much already though. I don't know if it's going to get that low. Could be a flag here, but crazy move. But yeah, a good example of what I essentially look for is VHC here. You can see VHC, wish I could have shorted this one. Broke under this low, continues to fall after a big gap up. Looks like a high float stock. I'm not sure why I can't trade it on TradeNet. Usually the high floaters I can trade, but unfortunately I can't get into this one. KONE. Yeah, KONE made a crazy push up to 850. It actually has low volume though in this big push, so I don't trust it as much. Sometimes TradeNet will add these stocks that aren't tradable. Let me see, LEDS. But yeah, I think CNET's done. Look at CNET here. Ridiculous push up to 320 at 319. Now it's coming back. Kind of wish I could short it under this 250 level. If it breaks under that. There's a pushback up on ARWR. Looks like it may be done. Falling at least. Look at TNDM. I called this one out a little bit earlier. Look at this move. Up to the 780s. Yeah, right. CNET's not done for shorts. I kind of agree with you, man. I think if it drops under this 250 level, it could start tumbling down, so we'll see. But yeah, my second day using bigger sizing. Like I said, this always tends to happen where I'm consistent and profitable using small sizing. Every time I try to move up, I have a few losing trades, end up getting too scared and dropping back down to using smaller sizing. And I might have gotten a little bit too excited for Sprint. Especially with it not moving at all. But look at this washout long on TXMD. We'll see if it gets back up there. Don't know if it necessarily will, but we'll see. Gonna watch it regardless. TNDM breaking the high of the day and then pulling back some. Sprint trying to break the low again. Maybe it was a good trade after all. I probably should have set my stop at the high of the day. That would have made the most sense with this one. Especially with it starting to drop, but no worries. Alright, KONE making another run here, pushing up still. Yeah, I think ARWR is probably done here, pushing down at least. It just doesn't have that much room. You know, even if it gets down to 176 or 175, it'll probably just end up rebounding there. And so I don't necessarily like this trade, regardless of how it works out for me on ARWR. It was a good setup, but honestly, it seems like I'm forcing trades because I don't see any really extended stocks to get into. ARWR wasn't really extended. And so it seems like I'm just kind of forcing them a little bit to try to jump into something, even though, you know, I probably shouldn't. What's the other one that I was watching? VHC. You know, this is kind of the setup I look for. Breaking this low here and then continue to fall. But unfortunately, I couldn't get into it this morning. Good luck, Penguin. I'm going to set a stop for this one over 7. Maybe it's 7.02. Trying to calculate what my loss would be if I set my stop at the high of the day for ARWR. At 710, I got in at about 793. So that would be a 17-cent loss. So it'd be about $9. I'll just go ahead and set it at the high of the day and let it work, 710. See if it fails 7. But yeah, exactly. This is exactly what I look for is VHC. Unfortunately, I kind of let impatience get the best of me with this one. Yeah, Power Zone. It happens, man. It's just frustrating. I mean, the biggest thing is, yeah, I'm looking at I right now. It's just not moving too much. You know, the biggest thing with it is that a lot of these stocks that I want to trade aren't tradable on TradeNet, and so I end up looking for other trades elsewhere. You know what I mean? And they're just not my setups. They're just not what I necessarily like to get into. You know? And so I just end up looking for other trades, trying to win back or trying to have a profitable trade for the stream. And then I just take big losses and, you know, end up losing because I don't have that patience to wait, you know. But maybe Sprint would have been a good trade. I just didn't have the patience. Probably should have set my stop here at the high of the day after it formed. But let impatience get the best of me here. And now it's doing exactly kind of what I wanted it to do. We'll see. It's up so much in the last day. But I would have loved to get in VHC here. This is kind of my go-to setup. Yeah, for sure, Amy. Yeah, I just need to stick to my setups that work, you know, and ignore everything else. Even if I don't trade at all that day. And I've gotten actually pretty good with that. I've just been trying to use bigger sizing lately. And so it's like I want to use bigger sizing to kind of see how I do, but it's like a bad cycle because when I use bigger sizing, I'm not waiting for those good setups that I like, you know. And to add insult to injury, S is actually going down like I originally wanted it to when I got in the trade. Got to get used to using bigger sizing. But yeah, I'm probably going to jump out of ARWR pretty quickly here. If it breaks that high of the day, this thing could skyrocket up. And so, got to be careful with this one now. OMER. I see some people are talking about OMER. Yeah, this thing's pushing up strong. But yeah, just like I said, to add insult to injury, Sprint is doing what I thought it would. And a lot of other people were talking about this too. I just got spooked out of it. And although I have a little bit of FOMO because of that losing trade, I'm not going to chase it now. I think it'll push back up. Not necessarily for a reverse in the trend. I just think it'll have a pullback, or a pullback up, I should say. But yeah, trade idea was correct. Let emotions get the best of me with Sprint. RGSE. Yeah, RGSE getting a little volume spike here. Alright, so I got stopped out of ARWR, which is what I said. This is a textbook washout long setup now. So, aggravating to say the least, especially with Sprint dropping down. But yeah, those were my 2 days trying to use bigger sizing. I guess what do you guys think? Do you guys think I should still try tomorrow? Tomorrow I have to stick with setups that I actually know work and stay away from everything that doesn't. I can see exactly what I did wrong with ARWR here. So what I like doing is I like getting in when a stock breaks the low of the day after it's extended. But ARWR isn't really extended. It gapped up less than 10%. And so I probably shouldn't have shorted it. It had a good setup at the open. And I mean, it dropped down, let's see, 10 cents or so. But it wasn't extended like I look for. And thus is what I did wrong with it. If I would have just waited for an extended stock like, let's see, VHC. It's kind of what I look for. This one's a lot safer of a move. But this one, the float's big too, so tough to find setups that I like right now. I is dropping down under the low of the day here. Maybe jump in it, although I don't like saying that necessarily. It's really tempting to try to win back my losses on the day, but I don't know if I should. See you, Tiny. Thanks for watching, man. But yeah, look at Sprint now. Would have been a nice trade. I would have been up $15 now on this trade. More than that. So yeah, that was the play to get into. I should also probably wait about 5 minutes before jumping into anything. You can see it broke this low of the day here. And this is kind of exactly what I look for. You can see it broke, it was overextended, not necessarily from gapping up, but you could see yesterday, it was overextended from yesterday. Over 10%. And so when it broke this low here, could have gotten in, wrote it down, or when it broke this low here, could have gotten in, wrote it down. So I see what I did wrong. Definitely gonna have to focus on that. LEDS. Yeah. Although this one may start to push up. I'm also watching CNET here, but I can't trade it. But watching it regardless. Under that 250 level. That's what I look for as well. Yeah, we'll see what LEDS does here. All right, so total net loss on the day is $24 basically, 23.50. So definitely aggravating, but I'm in trading for the long haul. I'm still gonna do it. Frustrating though. Kind of a lesson. You know, you learn from your losses in trading. And these last 2 days of me trying to use bigger sizing have definitely taught me a few things. One of those things is that even if there's nothing wrong with waiting for your setup, if I don't see my setup, I need to just stay away from it. And ironically, the trade that I had the biggest loss on the day with this morning, did exactly what I wanted it to. So 2 lessons from the day are wait for premium setups. Really 3 lessons. Wait for premium setups. Probably give the market 5 minutes of time to form a range and confirmation. And also let it work for me. Don't get too scared out of it. But most important one is just wait for my setups. You know, don't force because I don't see anything else I like. You know, not getting into anything is better than taking a B setup instead of an A plus setup, you know. I know Atheon S is what I had that losing trade on for my first trade, man. I'm not blaming it on you because it's my fault. It actually did exactly what you said it would, and what I probably thought it would, but I didn't have the patience. I let it test this high of the day and jumped out of it when I shouldn't have. It eventually ended up dropping a decent amount. I would have been up over $20 on that one trade with it. So, my fault for sure. Watching I here. Low of the day break continues falling. Yeah, this is kind of another one of those setups that I like. Overextended on the daily chart. Breaking the low of the day here. Kind of watching TXMD now. Flagging some. Kind of having a strong push. May have been oversold in pre-market. CPST. Yeah, CPST looks good. Not a big range though, very small range in it. What's up, Ben? PVG. Yeah, I missed PVG this morning. Look at this move. Small gap, ran. Nice 1 minute pullback here. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think I should continue trying to use big sizing, or you should think I should go back down to small sizing? I'm sure most people want to see me use larger sizing, although I don't know if it would necessarily be best for my account. I mean, I still have my confidence as a trader. It's just I can see where the mental game comes into play, and so that's the most important aspect of it, is the mental side. Especially, you can see I got in Sprint at $6 and maybe $5.99. It eventually went down to around $5.80. So I would have made $20 on that trade. Unfortunately, I got kind of spooked out of it, and that's something I got to work on for sure. Really tempting to chase Sprint here as well as breaking the low of the day again. So really tempting to jump into it, but that pullback kind of gets my mind right about it. No, I was watching LEDS. I just couldn't trade it on TradeNet. It's not available to trade there. It's starting to break the low though. I don't think LEDS is shortable. At least it wasn't, unless they changed it. Yeah, they didn't. It's not tradable on TradeNet, unfortunately. Alright, so there's the low of the day break on LEDS. Let's see if it continues down. That's kind of a good, a good example of what I look for as well. Overextended, crashing back down, but with the momentum it has today, you never really know. Yeah, I think that's probably the best plan of action to take in YC, is that I find my setup, and then that's when I use big sizing. If I don't see my setup, protect my account. Sprint bouncing back up. Sprint puts her $30 for 100, I mean. C-Bay. Yeah, C-Bay's showing strength here. Testing 15 now. Very slow grind up, but definitely showing strength. Alright, so LEDS down to 640. Spread's kind of crazy with it. About a 10-cent spread on it. Yeah, I definitely like shorts more, Philip, but it's just kind of sticking to what works the best for me. At least what has worked the best for me in the past. And so yeah, while longs work, and I know a few decent long setups, I like shorts more, just because they've been the more reliable setups for me, at least. Last 2 days aren't a good example, but before that, uh, shorting those overextended stocks was definitely my go-to setup. And everybody trades differently. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of a sprint put as well. I'm gonna watch it for the rest of the day though, see if it gets a little bit higher before I buy my put. Yeah, puts on options with Sprint is only $26 per contract. I went ahead and bought one, a Sprint put. Not a bad put though. I bought a $6 put on Sprint. Break even price is 575 or 574. So all it has to do is drop under this level right here in the next 2 or 3 days. What's up, Jeremy? What's up, man? IGC, Javier. VSTM. Yeah, VSTM's looking strong too. So yeah, what I look for with stocks like LEDS is I want to see it break under the low, and then I want to see this low turn into resistance. And so preferably I'd like to see resistance at 650 right here, and then get in when it breaks the low here. I can't trade it, but this is just me testing out kind of my setup. And a prime example of what I like to get into is stuff like VHC. Drops, breaks the low. It's a 5-cent nickel spread stock, which I don't really like though. And the market always changes, so I just got to be ready for if it changes and my setups don't work anymore, which will happen. The market always changes eventually. when I set my stock chart, does the number of periods I choose go by the interval that I set up, 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, etc., or the range that I choose for the chart? So on Thinkorswim, you can set it for either. So for instance, like if I want to look at the 1 minute chart, but I want to change the date for looking at the past 20 days, I can change it to, let me see, I can change it to 1 day, or I can change it to a 1 minute aggregation period and a time interval of 20 days. And you can see it'll look like this. So like it's a 1 minute chart, but if I want to go back the last 20 days, I can. CALI, Anthony. Yeah, look at CALI. Getting a crazy push. I know I can trade this one too. I'm probably done trading for the day though, honestly. I've taken a big loss. I'm not going to try to win back my losses. That can kind of cloud your judgment. And so damn. You're in small PVG outsider. Yeah, it's looking strong too. My net loss on the day, Danny, is $23.50. I got into 2 losing trades. And like I said, the reason they were losing trades was just because I wasn't waiting for my setups. I got a little bit too impatient with Sprint initially. And you can see I got in going short, but when it pushed up here, I got out. And so definitely a learning trade. It eventually dropped down really nicely. I would have profited a decent amount from it, but I just got scared out of it. But the trade idea was correct. The next one was ARWR, and I got in when it broke the low here. The problem with this trade was that it wasn't extended at all. It was just, a small gap from 676 to 7 basically, and so about 25-cent gap. So tiny gap. And that's ultimately why it didn't work out for me. I should have looked for extended stocks, and if they're not extended, I can't force trades. And so I got to stick to my niche and what I know works for me. And, a lot of the times the small gappers are the stocks that run the most. And so whenever ARWR has a small gap, that should be my cue to be careful with it, maybe not jump into it. On the last trade with Cali, it's halted right now. No. The time in sales isn't showing up on my end with Cali. All right. Well, so far my sprint puts are profitable. We'll see if it drops down, can kind of save the day on Robinhood. All right, there's the resumption on Cali, up to $4. Be careful with it. Look for it to maybe come back down and fill this gap down to 360. A lot of times that's what a halted stock will do. And right when I say that, exactly what happens. So yeah, very, very common thing to happen with a halted stock, for it to fill the entire gap going down. Now it's down to 320. So fairly predictable with those setups. Never going to jump into them though, but they're pretty easy to predict. just because the stock's way too volatile and the stock could end up pushing up and the loss could just get bigger and bigger. But fairly easy to predict. You could also see this previous support and resistance line I drew right here is acting as somewhat support. It's bouncing off of there now. Not saying it won't continue to head down after that, but it's bouncing off of this support area right here. Usually, I mean, exactly what, you know, so dog, a pump and dump, it's exactly what I mean, it acted like this because it's a pump. So for instance, insiders in the company, a pump and dump is when insiders in the company buy shares of a certain stock and then push the stock. So say it's a stockbroker company, or say it's the company itself. They put out press releases. You know, sometimes it's just insiders with the company that buy stocks. It could be a chat room pump. Like, you never know. It could be a few different things. But for some reason, somebody's pumping it up, buying shares, pumping it up, and then when they unload their shares, it just crashes like this, you know. As to why this one happened, if there's no news releases and stuff like that, it could be, you know, could be just a big order. It could be a chat room pump. Another chat room could be telling everybody that they're jumping into it, and then all the chat room followers follow them, and then they unload their positions and kind of leave their chat room followers sitting on a losing trade. So it could be a number of different things. You never know. Yeah, 100% it's illegal, dog. Dog. Definitely illegal. DCIX making a push. Yeah, DCIX is a notorious pump. If you look back, it must have done a split, but no, actually this is correct. So in November of last year, DCIX went up to $28. I think it went higher than that, actually. Yeah. So, notorious pump on DCIX. But yeah, like I said, this one's just fairly easy to predict the crash after the halt. I mean, a lot of times what will actually happen here, dog, is that people that are stuck in this halt, so people that ride it up for this push, everybody that buys it on this big green candle right here, and then it gets halted, when it resumes, they don't want to be stuck in it anymore. And so everybody starts unloading their shares because they don't want to get stuck in a halt anymore. And then you see this, you know, you see what happens. It falls down and crashes. And so that could be what happened with CALI as well. You never know, but just trying to give you some, you know, maybe some options about what's happening. You don't really know. Sometimes it's 5 minutes, sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes it's 15 minutes. And so you never really know. But yeah, guys, I'm going to go ahead and close the stream down now. I think I'm going to do what kind of you guys suggested, is that if I see one of my A+ premium setups, I'll use bigger sizing. And if I don't, I'm just going to stick to small sizing after that. So hopefully I'll get some of those setups tomorrow. Appreciate everybody watching. If you haven't already and you appreciate watching me day trade live every morning, as well as call out the big movers in the market, hit the subscribe button right now and do me a favor and everybody like this video. I appreciate the support, and liking this video will help support us. So everybody click the like button right now. I appreciate it if you do. But yeah, not a great day. Second day using bigger sizing, and definitely some stuff I got to work on. But you always learn from your losses, and so hopefully I can take these 2 losses from today and yesterday and learn a little bit more about myself as a trader and work on fixing those holes in my game. But yeah, guys, good luck for the rest of the day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll try to put out a video today, at least a watch list video. And yeah, guys, good luck for the rest of the day. I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully. Thanks for watching.